Welcome to the void, where the alarms fall silent and the cosmos tastes of terror. We warmly invite you to listen to a story where every decision could be your last. This is Gamma Leporis, Act 3, The Price of Silence. Captain Graham whirled around, his grip tightening on the agent's throat. "Explain what my friends were doing here?" He roared. "I had no idea about another team," the agent choked out. "Somehow I don't believe you," Graham growled. "They don't tell me everything." The agent wheezed. A cough echoed behind them, sharp and sudden in the sterile silence. Samantha cleared her throat, her voice trembling as she spoke. "Captain, I don't want to interrupt, but I searched the room and found something else." She stepped forward, throwing two dead, spider-like creatures onto the ground with a clatter. The things landed at the agent's feet, their desiccated bodies twitching in a final spasm. "Do you know what this is?" Samantha demanded, her voice laced with anger. The agent stared down at the creatures, his face pale. "I don't know," he finally replied. "It's the first time I've seen anything like it. Maybe local fauna?" "Really?" Samantha spat, her voice dripping with disbelief. "So where now?" she asked, her gaze hardening. "I saw markings on the walls," Graham rasped, his voice hoarse from anger. "We'll decide after I check them out." "Okay, go check," Samantha said, her voice flat. Samantha sank down next to Alan's body, her face etched with grief. With a trembling hand, she uncovered his face, her touch lingering on his cold skin. Her other hand rested on his chest, as if willing him to breathe again. The silence stretched, broken only by the ragged gasps of the agents struggling for air. Her voice trembled, laced with a barely suppressed fury. "I remember when we started flying, recovering wrecks, our first assignment." A wave of nostalgia washed over her as she recounted the details. The same icy backwater, the same abandoned base, and 6 greenhorns looking for luck and fortune. Thanks to him, they all made it out of that hole that the company sent them to. It was supposed to be a simple mission: recover data from Cynthia's destroyed colony. That's all the company cared about. They could do whatever they wanted. She'd never forget those ruins they stumbled upon back then. Their quiet reminiscence was interrupted by a noise coming from the ventilation ducts. A metallic scraping sound, faint but unmistakable. "Did you hear that?" Samantha snapped. The agent, Belov, jumped slightly, his eyes darting nervously towards the ceiling. "No, I didn't hear anything," he replied unconvincingly. Then, a sudden crack. Samantha's fist connected with Belov's jaw before anyone could react. He stumbled back, a hand flying to his nose as blood trickled down his glove. It took a moment before John managed to separate them. "This will be reported, and you won't get your share, Belov," he growled, wiping the blood from his nose with a glove. "Mr. Belov," Graham spat, his voice dripping with icy venom. "I decide who gets a share and who doesn't." "What's gotten into you?" John demanded, bewildered by her sudden outburst. "This whole situation," she snarled. "You know, I wouldn't agree to penetrate abandoned colonies if I knew the full story." Belov winced, his bravado faltering. "We've been deceived. Besides, I heard something too." "Calm down, Samantha," Graham pleaded. "We'll finish soon and leave." "Maybe you misheard?" Ignoring him, Samantha turned to John, her voice tight with urgency. "What's the situation, John?" "The left gate leads to the reactor, laboratory, and warehouse," John explained. "To the right, the captain's and crew quarters, armory, and med bay. Vehicle bay too." "All right, let's go right." Samantha's voice tight suggested. "Please remember, the contract is still valid. It's unwise to not fulfill it when we're so close." The agent, Belov, interjected, his voice laced with urgency. "I have that contract somewhere," Samantha yelled, her frustration evident. John placed a calming hand on her shoulder. "Calm down, Sammy. and we probably need to start the reactor to do anything anyway. Besides, I want to know why Alan and Mike died. Because of the company's interests, most likely. Graham chimed in, his voice grim. But I agree with Samantha. I'd rather check the armory before going anywhere else. Something's definitely off here. I need to note that down. Working with paranoids is not productive. Belov scoffed. His words were cut short by the sound of a gunshot and a scream echoing from the ventilation ducts. This time, everyone nervously looked in their direction, a cold dread creeping into their hearts. "You're right," Graham conceded, his voice tensed. "Time to go to the armory." The gate on the right slid open automatically as they approached. They stepped through, entering a long, semicircular corridor. Their footsteps echoed eerily in the empty and quiet interior. Perfectly organized pipes and cables snaked along the walls, while hidden ventilation ducts hummed above them in the ceiling. The very existence of the recent scream from within those metal tubes sent shivers down their spines. Samantha traced the smooth lines of a nearby console, a sardonic smile playing on her lips. "I think I'll start working for this company. Living conditions in colonies are much better than yours. At least the decor is more civilized. Ventilation ducts hidden, nothing hanging." She trailed off, her gaze lingering on a seemingly innocuous grate high on the wall. John chuckled, his own eyes scanning the corridor with a soldier's vigilance. "Definitely beats the core." Suddenly, a grating screech pierced the sterile silence. In a heartbeat, Samantha's world erupted in chaos. A spindly, monstrous form, all glistening carapace and clicking mandibles, propelled itself from the ventilation grate with unnatural speed. Time seemed to slow as it hurtled towards Samantha, its barbed legs twitching with predatory hunger. Her scream, a high-pitched shriek of terror, was abruptly cut short by the deafening boom of John's shotgun. The pellets ripped through the air in a lethal spray, catching the creature mid-leap. A crimson mist erupted as the creature exploded in a shower of gore, its viscous fluids spattering across Samantha's face and suit. The metallic tang of blood filled her nostrils as a searing pain lanced through her cheek. A primal scream tore from her throat, a wordless cry of agony and shock. John's voice reached her from a distance, muffled and distorted, but she could only respond with another raw, animalistic shriek. The medical room was a stark contrast to the sterile horror of the corridor. Despite the lack of main power, the automatic medical beds hummed with a reassuring efficiency. John, his face etched with a grim determination, worked swiftly, cleaning and dressing Samantha's wounds. "Don't separate and put on covers," the captain ordered, his voice laced with concern. "John, and how's our medic?" John glanced at the automated medical bay. "She's fine, Captain." The autodoc neutralized the alien goo and dressed the wound. "Unfortunately, she lost an eye. Restoring her to health will take another hour." "Then let's go look around." Belov frowned. "No, Mr. Belov, I won't leave a crew member alone," the captain ordered, "but we'll come back, and in the autodoc, she's not in danger." Belov scoffed. "True," Samantha conceded, her voice barely a whisper. "Something could cut us off from her." Johan replied, "Mr. Belov, like I said, you're free to go. We will wait." Captain said. After what felt like an eternity, the bedchamber door hissed open. Disoriented and blinking against the harsh light, Samantha sat up, her hand instinctively reaching towards her face. A choked sob escaped her lips as her fingers brushed the empty socket. A warm hand settled on her shoulder. She flinched at the contact, then looked up to meet Graham's gaze. His eyes held a mixture of concern and regret. "I promised myself," Samantha whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "I'd never enter abandoned colonies again after what happened. I know, Graham replied gently. I apologize for us landing here at all. It's our mess, Luke, Samantha said, forcing a weak smile. It's not your fault. A wave of despair washed over her. Look at me, she choked out. I'm not useful to you anymore. I lost an eye. Graham squeezed her shoulder, his grip firm yet comforting. You'll always be useful, Sammy, always. Did you search the armory? Samantha sniffed, trying to control her emotions. We were waiting for you, Sago replied, his voice stoic. It's time to move, Graham declared, his voice hardening with resolve. The armory door stood at the end of the corridor leading to the left, a grim testament to the violence that had unfolded here. The once pristine white walls were riddled with bullet holes, and scorch marks marred the floor near the entrance to the captain's quarters. Hinting at the use of grenades, John's voice cut through the tension-filled silence. Here's the armory. Just be careful, weapons ready. We don't know what's behind those doors. Thank you for listening, and please join me for the next episode. Sound effects courtesy of www.zapsplat.com.